There is a pervasive lie in modern society that is quietly destroying your peace of mind. It is the idea that to be happy, you must only think positive thoughts. We are told to manifest success. We are told to visualize the dream house, the perfect partner, the corner office, and the overflowing bank account. We are told that if we ignore the darkness, it will simply disappear. But deep down, you know this is not true. In fact, the more you frantically try to arrange your life so that nothing ever goes wrong, the more fragile you become. You build a house of cards, terrified of the slightest breeze. You live in a constant, low-level hum of anxiety, waiting for the other shoe to drop. We treat happiness like a porcelain vase that must be guarded at all costs. And because we are so afraid of dropping it, we never actually enjoy holding it. What if the secret to unshakable peace wasn't about expecting the best? What if it was about intimately, calmly, and methodically imagining the worst? Let us look at the diagnosis of your current state. Most of us live in a state of delusion that the ancient Stoics would call a waking sleep. We sleepwalk through our blessings because we have become numb to them. Consider how this manifests in your work life. You have a job, it pays the bills, it provides security. Yet on a Tuesday afternoon, you are consumed by a minor irritation. Perhaps a client was rude or a project was delayed. You spend hours ruminating on this friction. You complain to your colleagues, you let it ruin your dinner. You are entirely focused on the 10% that is going wrong, completely blind to the 90% that is going right. You have forgotten that having a job at all is a privilege that millions would beg for. Consider how this manifests in your relationships. You have a partner who loves you, but over time, the novelty has worn off. The honeymoon phase is over. Now, you notice the way they chew too loudly. You notice they didn't do the dishes. You notice their flaws under a microscope. You begin to take their presence for granted. You assume they will always be there, sitting on that couch every single evening. Because you assume they are permanent, you treat them with a casual indifference. You stop trying. You stop seeing them. And finally, consider the battle that happens at night. You lie in bed, staring at the ceiling. The house is quiet, but your mind is screaming. You are gripped by a vague, undefined fear of the future. What if I fail? What if I get sick? What if I lose it all? Because you have pushed these dark thoughts away all day, trying to be positive, they return with a vengeance in the dark. You are fighting a war against reality, and you are losing. Why does your brain do this? It is not because you are ungrateful. It is because you are human. Psychologists call this hedonic adaptation. It is a fancy term for a simple tragedy. Human beings get used to things. When you buy a new car, you feel a rush of joy. For 2 weeks, you park it carefully. You wash it. You admire the leather. But 6 months later, it is just a car. It is just a metal box that gets you from point A to point B. It is covered in dust and filled with old receipts. Your brain is designed for survival, not satisfaction. Your ancestors did not survive by sitting around a fire admiring the sunset and feeling grateful for their health. They survived by scanning the horizon for predators. They survived by worrying about the food supply. We are the descendants of the anxious. We are the descendants of the dissatisfied. This biological wiring, combined with a culture that sells us instant gratification and eternal comfort, creates a recipe for misery. We have everything, yet we appreciate nothing. We are constantly rushing toward the next thing, believing that then we will be happy. We are running on a treadmill, chasing a horizon that moves away from us with every step. To stop the treadmill, we must step off. We must adopt the unrushed perspective. We must look to the Stoics. 2,000 years ago, the Stoic philosopher Seneca proposed a mental exercise that seems, at first glance, to be the opposite of self-help. He called it Premeditatio Malorum, the premeditation of evils. This is not pessimism. This is not anxiety. Anxiety is an uncontrolled, emotional spinning of wheels. Premeditation is a calm, deliberate visualization. Imagine a man sitting in a small wooden cabin in the deep of winter. Inside, there is a stone fireplace with a roaring fire. He is sitting in a worn leather armchair. He has a warm cup of tea in his hands. He is wrapped in a thick wool blanket. Outside, a storm is raging. The wind is howling through the trees, snapping branches. The snow is driving sideways, burying the world in ice. The temperature is deadly. If he were out there, he would perish in minutes. He looks at the thin pane of glass in the window. He sees the violence of the wind shaking the frame. He hears the roar of the chaos. Does this make him afraid? No. It makes him profoundly happy. Because he sees a storm, he feels the warmth of the fire. The contrast creates the value. If it were a mild, sunny day outside, he wouldn't even notice the roof over his head. He would probably be bored. He might even complain that the cabin is too small or the tea is too hot, but the storm shocks him into gratitude. The storm makes the shelter real. This is the practice of Premeditatio Malorum. It is the act of voluntarily looking out the window at the storm so you can appreciate the warmth of your life right now. The hustle culture tells you to ignore the storm. It tells you to pretend the sun is always shining. It tells you to visualize yourself winning the lottery. But when you only visualize the best, reality will always disappoint you. The unrushed mind does the opposite. We visualize the loss. We visualize losing the job. We visualize the car breaking down. We visualize illness. We visualize the empty chair where our partner sits. By briefly, safely, and vividly imagining these things gone, we break the spell of hedonic adaptation. We wake up from sleepwalking. We reset our baseline for happiness. When you accept that everything you love is on loan to you from fortune and that the loan could be called in at any moment, you stop gripping them so tightly. You stop rushing past them. You start treating them with the reverence they deserve. So, how do we turn this philosophy into a brick? One single, solid action you can place today to build your foundation. I want you to perform a negative visualization, but keep it small. Keep it safe. Here's exactly what you will do. Later today, when you have a quiet moment, perhaps when you are drinking your coffee or right before you turn on your car, I want you to close your eyes. I want you to imagine with full sensory detail that you have lost the ability to use your legs. Do not rush this. Feel the heaviness. Imagine trying to stand up, but your muscles simply do not respond. Imagine the frustration of needing a glass of water that is just out of reach, but you cannot walk to the sink. Imagine the wheelchair. Imagine the pity in people's eyes. Imagine the simple joy of walking down the street being taken away from you forever. Sit with that darkness for 60 seconds. Feel the weight of that reality. Let your brain believe, just for a moment, that this is true. Then open your eyes. Stand up. Feel the blood rush to your feet. Feel the muscles contract. Feel the floor beneath your soles. Take a step. That step is a miracle. A moment ago in your mind, it was impossible. Now it is real. Your brain will try to resist this. It will say, "Why would I make myself sad?" Or, "This is morbid." Do it anyway. You are not making yourself sad. You are inoculating yourself against ingratitude. You are not being morbid. You are being present. By visiting the storm in your mind, you return to the cabin of your body with a renewed sense of wonder. You realize that normal is actually extraordinary. We spend our lives rushing to get more, to be more, to have more. We treat the present moment like a waiting room for a better future. But the Stoics remind us that the present moment is the only thing we possess, and it is fragile. Don't wait for a tragedy to teach you the value of what you have. Don't wait for the storm to break the window before you appreciate the glass. Look at the darkness, respect it, and then turn back to the light in your life and enjoy it while it burns. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Stay unrushed.